What if I told you that every mistake you've ever made, every failure you've experienced, and every regret that keeps you up at night could actually become the foundation of your greatest transformation? Here's the truth that most people never realize. Your past doesn't define you, but how you process it, learn from it, and strategically plan your future absolutely does. And today, we're going to unlock the most underrated tool that can help you do exactly that. It's called brainstorming, and trust me, it's not just for business meetings. Most people think brainstorming is something reserved for corporate boardrooms or creative agencies. They picture whiteboards filled with sticky notes and executives throwing around buzzwords. But here's what nobody tells you. Brainstorming is actually one of the most powerful personal development tools ever created. It's the bridge between who you are right now and who you want to become. Think about it. Every major decision in your life, every turning point, every moment where things could have gone differently, all of these moments required thought. The problem is that most of us don't think strategically. We react, we respond, we let life happen to us instead of designing it ourselves. Today, you're going to learn how to use brainstorming not just to generate ideas, but to literally rewrite the narrative of your life. We're going to explore how this simple practice can help you identify patterns in your past mistakes, create actionable solutions, and build a roadmap to the person you've always wanted to be. This isn't theory. This is a practical, step-by-step approach that has helped countless people break free from cycles of failure and step into their full potential. So if you're ready to stop being a passenger in your own life and start taking the wheel, stay with me until the end. Before we can brainstorm our way to a better future, we need to understand something crucial. Your past mistakes are not random, they follow patterns, and once you recognize these patterns, you gain the power to break them. Here's an exercise that changed my perspective completely. Take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write down every major mistake or failure you can remember from the last 5 years. On the right side, for each mistake, write down what you were thinking or feeling right before you made that decision. What you'll start to notice is shocking. Most of your mistakes share common threads. Maybe you make poor decisions when you're stressed. Maybe you self-sabotage when things are going too well. Maybe you avoid confrontation until small problems become massive crises. This is where brainstorming enters the picture. Traditional thinking would have you beat yourself up about these mistakes. Brainstorming asks a different question. What patterns am I seeing, and what alternative actions could I take next time? The beauty of brainstorming is that it removes judgment. There are no bad ideas in a brainstorming session. This is crucial when examining your own life because shame is the enemy of growth. When we feel ashamed, we hide from our mistakes. When we brainstorm, we examine them with curiosity instead of condemnation. Now let's get into the actual framework you can use to brainstorm your way to transformation. I call this the rewrite method, and it consists of 5 key steps. Step 1, reflect. Set aside 30 minutes in a quiet space, no phone, no distractions. Write down the specific area of your life you want to change. Be specific. Don't say, I want to be happier. Say, I want to stop losing my temper with my family when I'm stressed from work. Step 2, explore. This is the core brainstorming phase. Set a timer for 15 minutes and write down every possible reason why this pattern exists. Don't censor yourself. Maybe it's childhood trauma. Maybe it's poor sleep. Maybe it's a lack of coping mechanisms. Write it all down without judgment. Step 3, widen. Now brainstorm every possible solution you can think of, no matter how ridiculous. Therapy, meditation, exercise, changing jobs, taking a vacation, learning breathing techniques, joining a support group, reading books, hiring a coach. The goal is quantity, not quality at this stage. Step 4, identify. Look at your list of solutions and circle the 3 that feel most actionable and impactful. These become your focus areas. Step 5, take action. For each of the 3 solutions, brainstorm the smallest possible first step you could take in the next 24 hours, not next week, not next month, tomorrow. This framework works because it combines the freedom of brainstorming with the structure of action planning. You're not just dreaming about change, you're engineering it. Let me share something fascinating about why brainstorming works so well for personal transformation. It's all about how your brain processes information. When you're stuck in a problem, you're usually operating from your default mode network. This is the part of your brain that runs on autopilot. It's efficient, but it's also limited to existing patterns. It's literally wired to keep doing what you've always done. Brainstorming activates different neural pathways. When you force yourself to generate multiple ideas without judgment, You engage your creative centers and your prefrontal cortex simultaneously. You're essentially training your brain to see possibilities it was previously blind to. Studies have shown that people who regularly practice brainstorming develop stronger cognitive flexibility. They become better at seeing problems from multiple angles, generating creative solutions, and adapting to new situations. In other words, brainstorming doesn't just help you solve one problem, it literally rewires your brain to become a better problem solver overall. This is why the most successful people in the world often have some form of brainstorming practice, whether they call it journaling, mind mapping, or strategic thinking sessions. They understand that your ability to think creatively about your own life directly correlates with your ability to change it. Now, if you're finding this valuable and you want to dive even deeper into personal transformation strategies, I've got something special for you. I've created an entire community dedicated to helping people like you unlock their full potential. Inside, you'll find more frameworks like this, direct support, and a group of like-minded individuals, all committed to growth. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, check out the school link in the description below. It might just be the missing piece in your transformation journey. Now let's continue. Here's where things get really powerful. Brainstorming isn't just about planning for the future, it's about rewriting your relationship with the past. Every mistake you've made carries a story, and often that story is filled with self-criticism, shame, and regret. These narratives become part of your identity. You start believing things like, "I'm the kind of person who always fails," or "I never follow through on anything." Brainstorming allows you to challenge these narratives. Here's an exercise. Take one of your biggest regrets and brainstorm 10 different ways to interpret what happened. Not excuses, but genuine alternative perspectives. For example, let's say you failed a business. Traditional thinking says, "I'm a failure, I'm not cut out for entrepreneurship." But brainstorming might reveal, "I learned invaluable lessons about market research," or "I discovered my strengths and weaknesses," or "I proved I have the courage to try something most people never attempt." This isn't toxic positivity, it's cognitive reframing, and it's backed by decades of psychological research. When you actively brainstorm alternative interpretations, you weaken the grip that negative narratives have on your identity. Take this further by brainstorming how your past mistakes have actually served you. What skills did you develop? What character traits did you build? What future mistakes did you avoid because of lessons learned? When you do this exercise honestly, you'll often find that your failures were actually your greatest teachers. Now we're going to use brainstorming to architect your ideal future. This is where transformation goes from concept to reality. Start by brainstorming your ideal self 1 year from now. Don't limit yourself. What do they look like? How do they spend their mornings? What habits do they have? How do they respond to stress? What relationships do they maintain? What accomplishments have they achieved? Write for at least 10 minutes without stopping. Let the vision become crystal clear in your mind. Next, brainstorm the gap. What specific changes need to happen to bridge who you are now with who you want to become? This isn't about massive overhauls. Often the biggest transformations come from small, consistent changes that compound over time. Now here's the key insight. Brainstorm the obstacles. What will try to stop you? What has stopped you before? What excuses will your mind generate? By anticipating resistance, you prepare yourself to overcome it. Finally, brainstorm your support systems. What tools, people, environments, and habits will help you stay on track? This is where community becomes crucial. Transformation is exponentially easier when you're surrounded by people on the same journey. The reason most people fail to change isn't lack of desire or even lack of knowledge. It's lack of strategic thinking combined with lack of support. Brainstorming gives you the strategy. Community gives you the support. Here's the final piece of the puzzle, making brainstorming a consistent practice rather than a one-time event. I recommend what I call weekly rewrite sessions. Every Sunday evening, spend 30 minutes brainstorming the following: what went well this week? What didn't go well? What patterns am I noticing? What adjustments do I need to make? What is my one focus for the upcoming week? This simple practice creates a feedback loop of continuous improvement. You're constantly evaluating, adjusting, and evolving. You're never stuck because you're always actively thinking about how to move forward. Some people prefer daily brainstorming, usually in the form of morning pages or evening reflection. Find what works for you. The frequency matters less than the consistency. Consider also creating a brainstorm bank. This is a document where you keep all your brainstorming sessions. Over time, this becomes an incredible resource. You can look back and see how far you've come. You can revisit old ideas that might now be relevant. You can identify patterns across months or even years of reflection. The most transformed people I know all have some version of this practice. They understand that personal growth isn't a destination, it's a process, and brainstorming is the engine that keeps that process moving. Let me leave you with this thought. Every single day, you have a choice. You can let your past define you, or you can use your mind to design something new. Brainstorming is simply the practice of choosing design over default. Your mistakes are not your identity, they are data points. Your failures are not your future. They are lessons. And your regrets are not permanent. They are invitations to think differently. Starting today, I want you to commit to one brainstorming session, just one. Take 30 minutes, go through the rewrite framework, and see what emerges. I promise you'll be surprised by what your own mind is capable of when you give it permission to think freely. So start thinking, start brainstorming, start rewriting. And if you want to accelerate this journey, don't forget to check out the school community linked in the description. Until next time.